Hey, welcome back to Next Third Best Third. I'm David Fenwick, the founder and the host, and I'm joined in studio again by Stephanie Rounds. Hey, Stephanie.
Hello.
Stephanie is a trainer, a nutritionist, among many other things. And what I wanted Stephanie to do today is to give us all some absolute non-negotiables that we need, right? Mm-hmm. As far as things in our activities that we should all be doing. Mm-hmm. Things in nutrition that we should all be doing, no matter what age you're at, right, male or female. And then also things that we should be avoiding, sure, right? Somewhat, there's some exercises that maybe you think we shouldn't be doing. Sure. Maybe not. I'll let you go with that. But definitely as far as like the nutrition and things like that, because we know that what we eat is what we ingest and our activity affects our emotions. It affects our thoughts. Yeah. It helps us be stronger and kind of fight against the lies that we believe. Mm-hmm. There's so much, right? Yeah. So let's just start. Give me some things. It doesn't matter what age, right? Yeah. Last episode, we talked about different ages and stages, but this is things that in your studies and with your work, what are some of the things that are like absolutes? You need to have this in your life. Yeah.
Oh, gosh. Well, it really... I love that question because what it does is it makes you really think what's important to me and what's not important to me. And just practically, there are really a couple things that we need to even be able to function really well. And that's good quality food, good quality water, and good quality sleep. Okay. Those three things are king, really. And even when it comes to working out, if it comes to just everyday life, if you're not getting those three things, your quality of life is really not going to be the best that you can experience.
You brought up sleep, and it's interesting. I'm a really good sleeper.
That's awesome.
I mean, at my age, I don't get up in the middle of the night ever.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, no, I'm blessed. I'm a good sleeper. But I believe it's, people who struggle with sleep, it's tied into what they eat and what they drink and their exercise, don't you think?
Yeah, and I think a lot of it has to do with how you go throughout your day anyway. If you're not getting a lot of physical activity or enough physical activity, I want to say a lot because sometimes you can overdo it and then you're really struggling later on anyway. So if you're eating too much, if you're eating too little, definitely we tend to all be dehydrated.
Yes.
And there's so much going around as to like, should I add electrolytes? Should I not add electrolytes? What should I put in my water? What shouldn't I? Honestly, just find good, clean water and drink it. It really, at the end of the day, that's really all you need to be able to make sure that your body's functioning well, that your cells are hydrated, that you're removing waste correctly. Because a lot of reason why we're tired is we have a lot of waste built up in our body. That water helps flush out. And if that includes making sure your blood is moving well, and you're having good bowel movements, good like urinating, all that stuff, getting that out is what's going to help you feel better too.
So water intake isn't necessarily tied to thirst.
No. Actually, I found that the more water I drink, I tend to be more thirsty. And that the less water I drink, I tend to be less thirsty. It's almost like your body's going into a preserve mode. Like, oh no, we're in a bad place. Let's not do that. And which was interesting to me because you can drink too much water. There is such thing as like overdoing it. But if you're in tune with your body and you're listening, you're going to be able to tell, oh, I need a drink. And a good way to think about it is like, at least for me, I have a big water that I fill up 3 to 4 times a day. Okay. And I found that works for me. And a good way to also is, am I urinating enough? And what color is it? So if it's dark yellow, you're dehydrated. If it's cloudy, you're probably dehydrated and have some other things going on. If it's like a pale yellow, you're probably drinking enough water. Okay. So, I mean, that might be a little bit much for people to hear, but your body can tell you so much about yourself.
Simple observation, right? I mean, that's observing waste.
Yeah, absolutely.
That tells you a big story.
Same with your bowel movements. Yeah. To know how you're eating and if you're eating enough and what you're eating. If you're not having a good bowel movement, if you don't feel like you're emptying yourself by the end, there's probably some stuff that you need to adjust. It could be that you're dehydrated. It could be also that you're not eating enough fiber. Maybe you're not getting enough protein. Like there's other things that you can tell by your bowel movements too.
Okay, so we need good sleep. Is there any tricks to good sleep?
I can only really talk about myself in this aspect, and what I've learned for me is I learned that I was getting too much blue light exposure
Okay.
And what I did is I bought red light or blue light glasses that were red frames, and it filters out all the blue light. Like I'm not getting any in. And I throw
so that's
that
when you're on your computer or on your phone?
Not just that, but even when the sun starts going down, I throw them on, because even the lights in your house are giving off blue light.
Okay.
So I throw them on the moment the lights come on in the house and the sun goes down, I throw those suckers on. Okay. And by the time 8:39 rolls around, I'm pretty wound down and ready for bed, and I fall asleep a lot faster and a lot easier.
So do you find it helpful to have a regular schedule of going to bed?
Yeah, absolutely. Especially when we do become older. If we're on a good schedule, your body becomes used to where you are in that day, and you follow those natural rhythms. When you learn your natural rhythm of life, when you wake up, when you're hungry, when you're tired, when you go to sleep, and you follow that pretty well, your body becomes used to it, and you're able to receive all the healing hormones that you need during the evening. Your body is able to regenerate. Your brain is able to do what it needs to do. And so I find that following a good schedule as much as you can, depending on where you are in life, and staying as close to that as possible, that's going to make a huge, tremendous difference.
You know, it's interesting because I said I sleep well, and I really do. But if I go to bed around 9:30, 10 o'clock, I'll sleep 8 hours.
Oh, yeah.
Without waking up. It's great.
Yeah.
The other night, I went to bed. I was watching a movie. I went to bed like at midnight. I got up at like 5:15. You know, I was just like, I was all out of kilter, you know?
Yep.
So I do know that's true. That's why I brought it up, because I know for me, having a regular schedule helps a lot.
And that's even with kids. Even with my kids, if I let them stay up later than what they're used to, they wake up earlier. And I'm like, what is happening? Aren't you supposed to sleep in? And they won't sleep in. They'll wake up earlier. And I think it's just because our bodies, then there is such thing as like getting overtired and overstimulated. Then you hit into that cortisol kick. And so your body's getting all those hormones to wake you up and do what you need to do when you weren't supposed to be in that area anyway. Right.
And there's no, people are different, right? So like for me, I love to get about 8 hours. That's really great. That's a sweet spot for me. My friend Eddie Tate, who was on the other day, he's was telling me that 6 is his sweet spot. So it's not a matter, it's a matter of quality, not quantity.
Well, and honestly, and even for women, we tend to need more because our hormones are way different than men's hormones. Our sweet spot is probably about 9 to 11 hours of sleep for our bodies to be able to function well, especially if you're going into perimenopause and menopause. Yeah. We need more sleep just because of where we're at. So it's very interesting to see the differences.
One more thing on sleep is I have found for myself, but you're the expert here, is when I have my last meal, like my schedule of eating and what I ingest after a certain time, that affects my sleep.
Oh, yeah. Well, your body's digesting it when you're sleeping. So if you eat, I found the optimal is to eat 2 to 3 hours before you go to bed. Anytime after that, your body is trying to digest. You can't go into sleep mode. You can't go into healing mode because your body is too focused on digesting that food that's still in your system. Yeah. So like if I eat too late, I will wake up at about 2 o'clock in the morning sweating because my metabolism is already high. So then it's even getting higher and I'm creating so much heat and it's miserable because then I'm waking up going, this is horrible. And I realized, I ate way later than I usually do. I
try to eat my last meal around 6, you know. Now, you and I've had a conversation a year or so ago about intermittent fasting and things. You've got some views on that. But for me, I do an intermittent fast from 6 o'clock at night till the time I have breakfast in the morning, which is usually like 8-ish. So I'm going 14 hours usually of intermittent fasting, and it works for me.
Yeah, absolutely. You got to find what works for you. Yeah. Again, from what I've been studying and what I've been learning even on my own, I can do an intermittent fast of about 12 hours where my last meal is about, we stop eating around 6:30. 7 o'clock, and then I don't eat until around like 7 o'clock the next morning anyway. It's just because then I have that 12 hours sleeping.
And that's the easiest way to intermittent fast, right?
Yeah. And then I'll do like once a week where I'll do a 24 to 36 hour fast.
Okay.
And that helps heal my gut. That helped me do a whole bunch of different things.
Yeah.
But I don't do more than that unless I feel like the Lord's calling me to do it. But because of just hormonal changes and everything, there's a lot of stuff that goes into it that are pro and con for it, but you find what works for you and you do it. And my biggest thing is like, you shouldn't be eating super late at night anyway before you go to bed.
That's right.
It's just not good for things overall, period. Unless your goal is different for like weightlifting and bodybuilding, that's a whole different thing to be able to meet your goals, but that's a way different topic. In general health, we shouldn't be eating super late at night anyway. We weren't made for that.
So you addressed water, and now we addressed sleep a little bit. What was the other?
Movement.
Movement. All right. So these are things that all of us absolutely need. Talk to us about movement.
Oh, I said food too. I said eat, sleep. I think I did say movement. So movement is exercise. So that means just getting your blood pumping and creating a space where you're moving. You're moving your body. We weren't made to be in one spot for very long. We were made to be moving. That's how our body works. With movement, our blood works better. Our air intake works better. Everything works better. We end up sleeping better at night. We end up healing better. So unfortunately, we tend to be more sedentary now anyway, just for how things are than what we were like 50 years ago even. Yeah. So just integrating more movement into our life, whether that's getting up and down playing with our kids, whether that's cleaning the house, reorganizing something, walking from the back of the parking lot to the front of the grocery store, taking stairs instead of the elevator. There's so many different ways that you can take a walk after dinner instead of sitting down and watching a TV show. Like there's different things that you can do to increase your activity.
So you're talking about movement, and that makes sense to all of us listening, but what about lifting weights?
I love lifting weights.
It's
my favorite.
but as far as we should absolutely have that.
I think that there should be some type of resistance training, whether that's adding in weights or whether that's adding in body weight, any type of, some type of high impact at least once a week to create better bone density. And then also just resistance, whether that's body weight resistance, which you can always increase by adding like a weighted vest or ankles. You can lift weights if you want to. Calisthenics is body weight exercising. You can get really, really fit just even doing that. So I mean, if you're doing movement that is creating resistance for your muscles and your joints, that's going to help create a really good environment for your body to thrive.
Yeah, that makes sense. As far as nutrition is concerned, now we're still on the absolutes that you need to have. What are some things that you just believe each one of us should have in our diet?
A good complex carb. What's a complex carb? So complex carb means something that's a little bit more high in fiber and takes a longer to digest. So I would say like a sweet potato. We would do whole grain bread. White potatoes are okay. And then rice, those are more complex. Simple carbs are more like sugars, things that digest quicker and faster and spike your blood sugar a little bit faster. A good fat, so avocados, nuts, peanut, like nut butters, stuff like that. And then even some like animal fat is pretty good to a certain extent. And then a good source of protein. There's good plant protein, pea protein, and rice protein together make a complete protein, or you could do, of course, animal protein. Okay.
Yeah, I'm a big protein guy. I eat a lot of meat, and I eat a lot of eggs. Yeah. It's interesting because if someone followed my diet during the week, they're going to see me eat a ton of steaks, some chicken, a lot of eggs. I was eating hard cheese, but I learned that Swiss cheese is one of the best cheeses that you can have. So I started putting that in. I eat a bunch of olives. I eat peppers. I'm careful on my fruit, right?
Yeah, that one's a little bit.
I don't do that too much of that. Avocados are big, So I actually use, like I cook in beef tallow. Yeah. And I use real butter, very rich butter, high fat butter. And then the other thing is a ton of olive oil. I even got to the point where I drink olive oil.
Yeah. So, I remember us talking about that. I think our brain especially needs that to be able to function. Our brain is fat, so it needs fat to function.
Absolutely.
And a lot of people don't realize it. They're like, what? I go, yeah, your brain is fat, so it needs fat to be able to function.
I had a physical recently, and everything came out really great.
Awesome.
Thank God. But I had, my overall cholesterol was a little high.
Sure.
And my doctor, he's like going, well, we could, change your diet up a little bit. And I looked at him, I says, no, I want high cholesterol. And so he's like, okay, and he's into functional medicine. Yeah. So but cholesterol is absolutely necessary for brain function.
It is.
And for your brain health.
It is.
And it's interesting. I'm not a research scientist or anything like this, but the statistics show that back when we started being concerned about cholesterol and they said eggs were bad for you. You remember that goes in the 80s or something like that where it started. Ever since then, cholesterol medicines were introduced. And we have seen dementia and Alzheimer's skyrocket since the beginning of that.
Yeah.
So here we're fighting against cholesterol because we think it's bad for your heart, which is debatable.
Sure.
It's debatable, but it's absolutely necessary for your brain.
It is. And there's a couple different cholesterols that you can look at. Your like HCl and then your, I can't remember the other one right now. Anyway,
LDL.
LDL. Right, so it's like the good and the bad. Right. And so I make sure that I take an omega-3 fatty acid, and I actually give my kids that as well. Yeah. There's been studies also showing that if people are ADHD, they're deficient in omegas. So if you give them a high dose of omega-3 and make sure the 6 and 9 are low or non-existent, then that helps them actually function a little better because your brain needs that to function. So I mean, there's different ways that you can go about it, but even looking at how you function everyday life, those 3 main things, protein, fat, and carbs, you need those to survive. Yep. Your brain is happy, your body's happy, you sleep better, you heal better. It's just knowing the balance of the 3 that work for you and what your goals are is where you need to just adjust.
Okay, so we need that. Protein, complex carbs.
Yep. And fat.
And fat. Okay. So that leads me to what should we absolutely not have in our diet or avoid as much as possible?
Anything super processed, ultra processed. I mean, I harped on that before. I will always harp on that. Anything that you can get. So my husband likes to argue with me about this. He's like, everything's processed because it's processed as soon as you take it out of the ground. I'm like, yeah. But this is not what I'm talking about. No. I'm talking about things that you already have prepared for you or the things that you prepare for yourself. And every once in a while, it's fine. I'm the like 80-20 balance person. You need to have some of that leeway in your life to be able to enjoy. And guys, I'm talking about like relatively healthy people. I'm not talking about people that have restrictions because of health or illness or chronic whatever. Like you need to be in tune with your doctor and your dietitian to really take care of that. Right. That's not what I'm talking about. That's a whole different conversation. The conversation I'm talking about right now is people who are healthy and have a healthy life and their things are generally in balance and they want to make some tweaks here and there. Nothing ultra processed. Like stay in the outside aisles of the grocery store. Yeah,
we hear that all the time.
All the time. It's true, isn't it? And it's so true. If you're able even to have your own garden at home, like plant a couple of herbs or some vegetables that are easy to grow on the windowsill, just because then it also gives you a sense of satisfaction as well. Like, oh my gosh, I made this and the taste is dramatically different. So no question. That's a really great way to integrate more nutrient-dense stuff into your diet.
So I go to a farmer's market, right? I like to do that because I live in an apartment. I'm not growing anything, So I go there and I'll pick up things like, I pick up meat a lot and sometimes eggs there. But I'll pick up vegetables there because they just taste so much better.
Yeah, they do.
I know they're better for me, but they just taste so good.
Yeah.
Now, I will go down the middle aisle to get canned vegetables.
Sure.
That's fine, right?
That's fine. And I mean, you just have to look at the sodium intake and make sure that it's not super high. And if it is high, just rinse them under water and you can take some of that sodium off of it. Yeah,
I try to get the no salt added, obviously, if you can. But, I find that's important. But the other day, it's curious. I knew we were going to be doing this, and I purposely went to the H-E-B, the best grocery store in the country.
Everything's better.
Yeah. And I purposely went down the middle aisles just to look. Yeah. And I spent some time I had time to kill and I'm looking at the aisles. Stephanie, it's insane how much stuff is there. And those were the busiest aisles at the store that day.
It's because they're cheapest.
Yeah.
And they're the fastest.
Yeah.
And that's the problem that in America, we have most of that problem. If you go to Europe or whatever, they're mostly outdoor farmers markets for the most part. It's just that the way of life is a little bit slower. Everything is more communal. Gardens are more together. Like it's a way different way of life. So how do we navigate that here? Now things down the center aisle like rice and pasta, whatever, that's fine too.
Yeah.
You need to get those down those aisles.
Yeah,
we don't all have
unfortunately,
time
you
to
do
do
have
that.
to walk down those aisles at times.
Absolutely, and that's okay. I think it's just really finding what is the best in those options that you have.
Yeah.
And because of the changes that are being made right now, we're going to have some better options than what we had before. And I'm hoping and praying that there's some legislative things made to where fruit, vegetables, and supporting the farmers to where they can afford what they're doing. Because that's really where the thing gets driven up too, is that they can't really afford what they're doing either. So now we're having to eat it and what we pay for, what we're getting. And so it's a whole, how do we navigate this? How do we do this? So at the end of the day, what I say is I would rather invest in my health now than have to invest in my health later in medication or whatever. So you may pay a little bit extra now, but later on down the road. That's
such a good way of looking at it because, we are investing in our future self. Mm-hmm. And if we spend a little more money here, it's like if you go to a gym, buy that, and gym memberships are not that expensive.
No.
Some can be, but they're not that expensive. But if you start to buy and spend some money on, as best you can, on more and cleaner food,
right,
it's going to have great effect down the road.
Yeah.
So
I think a lot of it is like ultra processed food is going to have that higher salt, higher sweet intake anyway. So it's letting your taste buds adjust as well to when you take all that stuff out of your diet. So there is an adjustment period of where you have to give yourself grace to, this works for me, this doesn't work for me. What can I do? What can I not do? And just, it takes time. Yeah. It takes time to figure it out, and that's okay.
It's interesting how your palate can change.
Oh, tremendously.
I told you in a previous episode that friends of mine had this event, and she made these chocolate chip cookies that were so good. But anyways, I looked at it, and I hadn't had a cookie in the longest time. And I bit into it, and it was unbelievable. But by the time I finished it, I was like going, oh, that's way too much.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, I couldn't have another one.
No.
I was like, whoa. And my palate was like rejecting it almost. Yep. It was tantalizing. It was good. But I was like, no, I can't do this.
Yeah. And you feel the way your body feels differently. It's almost like you had a drug. Yeah. And your body reacts. My husband makes fun of me all the time because I don't do sweets. It's just, I've not really been a big sweets eater. I'll do chocolate, but the darker the better. Yeah. But the moment anything has like a little bit of sweetness in it, I can taste it. I'm like, nope, too much. And it makes my jaw hurt. And he makes fun of me about it all the time because he has a huge sweet tooth. But I'm like, I can't do it. It's just, I haven't eaten that way in so long. I just don't do it. And your body reacts. And if I have sugar or whatever, like it feels like I'm on a drug. Yeah. And that's just me personally. But like those, that's the one thing, ultra processed I would remove for the number one thing.
It's interesting. I was looking at, in the health food aisle, right? I was trying to find out some real good protein bars.
Sure.
So much of that is just loaded with junk. You look at it and you go, it's 21 grams of protein. You're like, oh, that's great. And then you read the labels, right? That's one of the best things.
Yes, read labels.
And I was like going, I can't believe this is health food.
Right.
Because it's not.
No.
So.
Yeah, and I found that you can even make your own at home. Yeah. It takes time. Again, you have to find what your priorities are. If time is not one of those things that you can sacrifice at that moment, then find what you can. That if you can read a label and it has like 5 or less ingredients, cool, go with that. But if there's so many things in there, it's just not worth it.
Okay, so avoid ultra processed foods.
Yes, ultra processed.
Because Daniel's right, everything's processed, to a certain extent. Something else that we should absolutely try to avoid.
Gosh, a bunch of supplements. Although I'm a nutritionist, I think there are some holes that need to be plugged with, and supplements can help, but they're a band-aid to the bigger problem. Okay. And we tend to over supplement nowadays. I was one of them. I'm guilty. I'm very guilty of that. And my body actually did worse when I was over supplementing. Now I do very little.
What kind of supplements?
To avoid or to
avoid?
To avoid. That's a whole big thing.
That's a big thing.
That's a big thing. Work with your doctor and your dietitian if they say you need something, work with it. But like people will look in the fitness world, oh, I need to add this to get like a better result here. I need to add this, and this. I always take an omega-3. Yeah. That's the one thing, and a vitamin D and a magnesium. Those are the 3 that I always take.
I just started doing magnesium, and I started doing cod liver oil.
Yeah, so that's omega. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so a really good omega-3, I do, a really good vitamin D, I do, and a really good magnesium complex, I do.
So I'm big on sunshine. So I get a lot of sun, so I don't take vitamin D myself.
Yeah, I do. And I do. No, you don't have to necessarily. I do because I had a thyroid disorder. And because of the thyroid disorder that I'm healing from, it just makes you vitamin D deficient. So I just do that to support all the other. I would get your labs done. If you have the ability to get your labs done and get it done by a functional medicine doctor, they'll be able to tell you where you're optimal in. I just was a little bit deficient in it, so that's the only reason why I take it until I go and have them done again. Yeah. But
no, I've seen a impact since I started doing magnesium.
Oh yes, we all tend to be deficient in magnesium.
Yes. Yeah. What does magnesium do for you?
It helps with your nerves, and it helps your body to relax. It helps you to be able to regenerate. I do a magnesium spray too on my kids to help them sleep better and calm down at bed. And sometimes I'll do it on me, especially after I've done a really hard exercise. I'll put the magnesium oil on my muscles. Yeah,
I do so much, right? My life's so full. I'm, full-time pastor, I'm a full-time podcaster.
All the things, yeah.
All these things, realtor. I'm writing a book, and I'm just super active. And I found myself stressing. And someone I know introduced me to the magnesium. I mean, it's made a huge difference.
It does make a huge difference. Yeah. When you stress, your body goes into overload, and so your body is using up all those things that you have. And since magnesium is water soluble, you're going to lose it a lot faster. And our food tends to be less dense in magnesium anyway. And it's a necessary mineral that we all need to be able to function and heal and get rest and all that.
Okay, so no matter what age, no matter what gender, what's something else that we should avoid ingesting?
Avoid ingesting too much sugar.
Yeah.
Just too much sugar. That's not saying fruit. Fruit is great because of just the mineral and the vitamin content in it.
But eat the fruit, don't drink the fruit.
Yes, absolutely, because that's the fiber intake that you have.
That's right. So many people, the whole concept, the American breakfast with orange juice. Don't do that, right?
I mean, if it's a treat, that's fine, but
I mean, eat the orange.
It spikes your blood sugar so fast, especially if you don't have any fat or protein.
We've been sold, especially older people, have been sold this bill of goods that they want their grapefruit juice, their orange juice, everything like that. It's terrible.
Eat the fruit instead of drinking it. And I mean, if you're saying, well, I drink smoothies, you're blending a whole fruit into it, so you're still getting fiber.
Right.
So if you're going to drink it, drink it in a smoothie.
Okay.
Yep.
So sugars. So the sugars that I get are from fruit. And I do local honey.
Yeah,
I like local honey. I'll put some cinnamon in there and mix it up. That's really good.
Well, that's great for your immune system too, especially where you're at. That helps build your immunities towards allergens as well. Yeah. And honey's just an amazing superfood.
So I'm going to throw something out here because I'm such a proponent of getting rid of this. It's sodas. Sure,
absolutely.
I mean, we drink so much soda, and it's so bad for you.
It's the sugar content. Even diet soda. I mean, honestly, it's extra chemicals going into your body that you just don't need. If you want something sparkly, get sparkling water and put some fruit in it and let it sit. Like, there's so many other ways. And again, that comes with just what we grew up tasting, what we're used to. Yeah. It's a lot of sugar and it's just spiking your blood sugar, and it's making your poor insulin go, what the heck is going on? And your body won't be able to function. And it becomes addictive. Sugar is just as addictive as some other drugs. Yeah. Or if not worse.
I've gotten to a point where it's water, tea, or coffee. That's it.
Yep.
I don't crave. I can't tell you the last time I had a soda.
Oh no, I had a sip. I think I had a sip of one from one of my kids or my husband, and I spit it out. I'm like, I can't do this. But again, because I haven't had one in a really, really long time either, and I was just super thirsty. I'm like, nope, not again. Yeah. It made me go, that's disgusting.
So one more thing that I'll throw out to see your response is seed oil.
Well, that's a controversial one.
It is. That's why I wanted your opinion.
Everything in moderation, right? And when we usually use seed oil, it's usually for ultra processed stuff anyway. It's usually for frying things and enjoying things that really should be eaten on occasion. Anyway, so if you have stuff with seed oil in it, I would just check your label and see if you can get a better quality ingredient, meaning it's not already processed. Usually the things that have like seed oil in it are crackers, are like chicken nuggets.
So since you get seed oil in foods right out there. And when you go to restaurants, a lot of times it's being cooked in seed oils.
Sure.
Should you then avoid using seed oils at home?
I would. There are better things that you can use. Avocado has a high smoke point, and it's great fats that you can use.
Yeah.
Use good quality butter. A good butter would be better than any oil. Yeah. You're also getting nutrients from that.
Like say beef tallow.
Beef tallow is fantastic. And then also coconut oil. And I use coconut, avocado, and ghee or beef tallow. Like those are all really good alternatives that you could use.
I even heard lard is better than seed oil.
I hate lard. That's just a thing.
Just the thought of it.
I grew up with like Crisco and lard and all that stuff, and it grosses me out to no extent. But if that's up your alley, then God bless.
I'm the same way, and that's why beef tallow kind of threw me off just a little bit, just because of the look. Yeah, you know, but it's
different.
Great.
Yeah,
it's great. Yeah. So I actually started using a whipped beef tallow on my skin.
Oh, I use that every night.
It's so good.
I actually wash my face with it, and I put it on before I go to sleep.
Yeah, that's so good. Boy, what else was I going to ask you about that? So if we avoid seed oils, one thing I was going to say, what I started doing, and again, I'm a little more anti-seed oil than you are, I think. And I have breakfast out with guys all the time. I'm meeting people all the time. So I go to the restaurants and I ask them, I tell them, like, little white lie. I say, I've got a seed oil allergy.
Sure.
Can you cook my omelet or my eggs in butter or something like that?
Sure.
And they do it.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've learned stuff incorrectly. Like there are going to be higher end restaurants that were like, what we make is what we make, but because I think people are becoming more aware, if you ask the questions just to be, and it is something that you're concerned about, ask the questions and see what they have in alternative. Because more people, more than not, they're willing to work with you and what you want to do. I honestly, I already eat pretty clean and don't really do a lot of oil stuff. If I do, it's either butter, avocado, or coconut. Yeah. So I don't really, it's not even really on my radar, to be honest. And so if I am going out to eat, I'm already engaging with the fact that there may be something in there, and I have to, if it's going to be at a fast food restaurant, I don't really go to fast food restaurants, so I just avoid them. It's just what I do. But if I'm going to go to In-N-Out, I know they're changing over what oils they use or whatever, and I don't mind, because that's a very rare thing that I do. So it's the 80-20 lifestyle again, right? But for the 80% of my life, it's usually butter and coconut oil. Because I eat out so much with my meetings, I'm very strict at home. Yeah. That's one of the things, because I know, because I don't want to make a scene out. No, of course not. Yeah. It's rare. The one place I go to breakfast most of the time, they know now, and I just ask them, so that's easier. But I think there's that balance. You've got to be able to enjoy your life, and you don't want to make a huge. No. You don't want to be that person. No. Who's a pain wherever they go. No, because then you're like, I'm so sorry, I'm not with them. That's right. I don't know. Please don't spit in my food. I'm so sorry. That's right. Don't spit in my food. No. That's funny. Knowing where your limits are, and if you just don't have the capacity to ask, or even you're too worried about it, just don't go. Yeah. At the end of the day, you're going to save money anyway cooking at home. So really, you just have to find what's a priority and what's not a priority. That's right. So this one's going to be, before we wrap up, probably a little more difficult. Is there any activities, when you talk about you need movement, you need activities, non-exercise activities. Sure. Is there anything that you'd be wary of, saying we should avoid? Oh gosh. I think that comes with an individual person and what their capacity is and what their injuries are. Do they have any injuries? How old are they? What is their movement? What abilities, what disabilities? It really just comes on an individual basis and then working from there. I personally don't do CrossFit because I don't like the high intensity go movement of doing Olympic type lifts in that speed. Now, some people are phenomenal at it. They've been doing it all their lives. But I just know that I would be more tend to be prone to injury going that route. So I stay away from it. I do more controlled functional and bodybuilding movements for me. For somebody who is older and has a balance issue, I will not be causing them to do a barbell back squat right off just because of balance and density, bone issues. It's a base by base. It's a person by person basis that I would go off of. That's a great response because myself, I've never been great on balancing. So
personally, I would never ride a bike in the streets.
Sure.
Go bike riding.
Right.
I just wouldn't do that.
Right.
That's something I would avoid.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Peter Attia, and I quote him a lot, but I love his book Outlive. If you've never gotten that, it's a fantastic book. But he talks, I saw him in an interview. He just recently moved. Well, he's been here for a while now in Austin.
Nice.
And so he talks about our roads here, the 2 lanes coming at you or the lanes coming at you, and there's nothing in between.
Nothing, yeah.
But he says one of the things that he's made a decision is if there's 2 lanes in both directions, he never gets in that middle lane.
No.
And that's something that I've learned.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this is a real practical thing, but I stay, and I taught my kids to do this, stay in the lane closest to the exit,
Yep.
Because that way, if that guy who's on his phone or that person's on their phone and they kind of come in, you're not going to.
No.
Right.
You won't be the one to receive that blowback. Yeah.
Right. So there's some simple things like that, even just looking at your life. He says, if you want to live a longer life, put yourself in a position to live a
Safety
longer
people.
life. That's right.
Yeah. Well, and even like going back to your comment of like, I know I'm not good on balance. I would never ride a bicycle, but if that was one of your goals to get better on that, I would help you. Like, what are some things that we could do to increase the ability for you to be able to be a better balancer on a bike or whatever? But again, so I would avoid, if I knew that you had balance issues, I would avoid road biking.
Yeah.
Like a stationary bike would be different because it's stable.
I do that.
But just working on your balance and avoiding things that I know could put you under stress. So I wouldn't do heavy loaded balancing exercises
when I was
at first.
15, 16 years ago when I was training real hard for marathons, is I wanted to do an Ironman, a triathlon. And that's when I realized, even at that point in my life, I was 15 years younger than I am today. I was like going, I don't like being on a bike.
No.
So I would swim. I taught myself I could swim a mile.
Yeah.
I could run a marathon, but I wasn't getting on that bike.
Yeah.
Just personal.
Yeah. And some people just don't like it. And you have to find what you really like and what you really enjoy, because that's what's going to make you have a consistent lifestyle of just being active. You have to find stuff that you like.
Yeah. So if there's one thing in general that you would tell somebody to change today, to stop doing, just one thing, what would that be?
To stop doing?
Stop doing. Whether it's food related or activity.
Shoot.
I mean, I know it's a personal opinion.
It is a personal opinion.
But you are trained.
And so what I see people is I would have them stop worrying about what they're not doing and focus more on the success that you're having on that day.
That's great.
Yeah.
That surprises me. That's a good answer right there.
I mean, that's honestly, at the end of the day, if you focus on what you're not accomplishing, you're never going to accomplish anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I would tell them to stop focusing on the things that you're missing.
We did an episode a few weeks back on bucket list, and one of the things in my research that I found was something I'd never heard of. It's a reverse bucket list.
Oh.
And a reverse bucket list is this. It's going back and writing out accomplishments.
I like that.
No matter how small or great.
Yeah.
And celebrating yourself.
Yeah, I like that.
Isn't that good?
I like that.
Instead of like what I haven't done.
Yep.
Just go back. I mean, you graduated from college. That's a great accomplishment, right?
Yeah.
You started a business, whatever. Or it could be even smaller than that,
I walked 10,000 steps today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just celebrate that. I think that's good. So what would you tell somebody that they should do to start doing if they haven't? If you said, here's one thing.
Yeah. Celebrate the little things.
Celebrate the little things. See, it's not all just about food and physical activity.
No.
I think so much of it that is our mindset.
It's all your mindset. Yeah. It's not even like a little bit. It's all your mindset. Because if you're focused on the things that you can accomplish, the things that you have in your hand, what can you do with the things that are in your hand? And then that's where the things grow. Yeah. So your mind is very, very strong, and it can handle more than you think it can.
It took me so long to reach the point, Stephanie, where I understood the power of my words and the power of agreement.
Yeah.
What am I agreeing with, and what am I proclaiming and declaring over myself?
Yeah.
I don't know why it took me so long to do that, but it's become something that's extremely important to me, is my thought life.
Oh, absolutely. And we tend to understand and accept things when we hear it in our own voice. So even if we see it in our own handwriting, if you read out a declaration or whatever over yourself daily, you tend to believe it faster and it becomes more real to you. So I do the same thing. There are very specific things that I declare daily, especially if I am struggling with what I'm seeing at the present in front of me. I speak truth over myself. What is true, whether I feel it or not. and then just celebrate those little things.
That's right. This is all good. It's all holistic, isn't it?
It very much so is.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's all spiritual.
Oh, everything is spiritual.
Yeah. I agree with that. Well, this has been great.
Yay. I had fun times.
Yeah, it's always good having you here. Can't wait till next time. And y'all, appreciate you so much. If you do us a favor, subscribe. We need to get these subscriptions up. We appreciate you viewing and being with us. But share, comment, and go out and be intentional. Make the next third your best third. See you next time.
Yay.